Over 80,000 fans welcome you to the grandeur, the spectacle, the pageantry of Summerslam. Well, hello, welcome to Wembley Stadium, welcome to London, England, welcome to 1992 Summerslam Hasbro edition. So as we all know, there are an absolute ton of matches on this legendary card, many dark matches. We are going to utilize almost the whole Hasbro collection here. So let's get started. First match of the night is just complete debauchery. We get Hacksaw teaming with the Bushwhackers, and they are going against the motley crew of the Nasty Boys on their way out of the WWE. And, of course, the Mountie. So, this match, just complete debauchery, the whole thing, just to get people going over other people. So finally, we have Duggan going for the pin over the Mountie. We got one of the Nasty Boys coming off the top rope to try to break it up. Duggan ducks. We got the Nasty Boy. And then we got the 1, the 2, the 3 for the winner. The face team of Duggan, Luke, and Butch. The Bushwhackers. And again, long card, we're going to try to spin through the dark matches here as quickly as possible. We're also going to try to get a better angle so I actually get all the action figures in there. There you go. Next match, continuing on the theme of dark matches, we have from Papa Shango against the trivia question, El Matador, Tito Santana. Tito Santana, the only man in the first 9 WrestleManias, albeit most of them in dark matches. And from there, we've got, again, dark matches. We'll go through it real quick. Shango, shoulder breaker on the flying jalapeno for the 1, the 2, the 3, and the mystical man who would later be Kama, who would later be the Godfather, wins his WrestleMania debut, although this is SummerSlam. All right, next up, we've got the first real match of the evening. And this one, I am not going to do the justice it deserves. But basically, we've got Money Inc. against, I almost bought toy motorcycles for this, but we got to at least try to make it happen. The iconic entrance coming down the aisle of LOD. What a rush! So we got LOD versus Money Inc. And the way this match ends, unfortunately, the Doomsday device, which none of them have the right action to make happen. We can certainly try, though. We can certainly try. The Doomsday device, actually, IRS interferes, knocks him off the rope, but somehow, with all that happening, Animal still ends up pinning Ted DiBiase, and LOD goes over in this one. But again, unfortunately, you don't get to see the Doomsday action. I do have a video from quite a few years ago doing the actual Doomsday device for the Hasbro, so if you're interested, check out the rest of the channel. But LOD for the win here. What a rush. And again, just to reiterate, the most iconic entrance in any pay-per-view history, in my opinion. All right. What do we have next? Next up, we've got the man who is in prison for unpaid Mother's Day parking tickets. Nails. The man who was fired from the WWF for choking Vince McMahon. Against the agile Virgil. And of course, as you'd expect here, Nails getting a big push here. Just an absolute squash match. Dude was vicious. He ends up choking out Virgil to a submission here. One of the few submissions in WWE pay-per-view back in the day. On the note of weird, it doesn't get much weirder than Nails. However, the next match, we have Shawn Michaels against Rick Martel. This was another stipulation. They could not punch each other in the face. There's some weird thing going on where Sherry Martel outside the ring faints. So they're doing all kinds of hanky-panky outside the ring, and it ends up in a double DQ. So this is my version of a double DQ, running away. Again, long card, trying to get the video done. So We are good there. And now we come to a very important part of the video. This is an excellent WrestleMania because it really does galvanize my youth and many people's youth, as almost the whole pay-per-view can be done with Hasbro figures, which is very rare. Here is the one exception, and that is the Beverly Brothers. As you can tell, these are certainly not Hasbro Beverly Brothers because they did not make them. However, that's the closest we can get. And I would hate to just skip this match because my favorite tag team and one of my favorite wrestlers ever, the Earthquake, is in this match. We're going tag team champions here. Hasbro, we got Earthquake and Typhoon against some knockoff Beverly Brothers. You can tell these guys haven't played with a bit because they cannot stand up. But as you would expect here, again, I think there were probably some political reasons going on as to why they didn't face off against Money Inc. for the championship or LOD. But basically, as you'd expect, Earthquake hit some big moves. Here, he had some, there was some avalanche action. And then we'll give Typhoon a quick avalanche action too, because they were a great tag team. And then we'll take the knockoff guys so we don't embarrass anyone. And we'll give him the old Earthquake. And he did slit his throat there before that. And then the 1, the 2, the 3 to retain the tag team championship, the Natural Disasters. All right, this next match certainly seemed like it should have been a dark match. It was not a dark match, but we had Kona Hawaii's very own Crush against the Repo Man, who used to be in Demolition. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. I didn't even write down the finish for this match, but Crush beats him. I'm going to assume it's with the Hawaiian Punch Head Crusher. Although, just real quick for the action's sake, we will give the Repo Man a high-risk move, even though I didn't think this happened. Oh, pretty cool. But again, yeah, Crush does win this. Should have been a dark match. It was not. And then one of the reasons it should have been a dark match is because we want to start getting to the main events here quickly. And the next one of those is the Ultimate Warrior against the Macho Man. Now, many interesting things in this match. The first of which is that they did not make a Hasbro figure, but the Ultimate Warrior here was wearing a bodysuit, even though he was still jacked at this point. This is where the whole Warrior Dead rumor came from. Anyway, great match. I think for political reasons it ended in a draw, but it ended in a draw for the funnest reason, and that's because basically Mr. Perfect in a suit, pretend he's in a suit, and Ric Flair came to the ring. They caused all kinds of distress. They started beating on Macho Man, and instead of taking advantage of this situation, the Ultimate Warrior goes crazy, and he chases them. Again, we're going to use this aisle ramp here. He chases them outside the ring, and then they come back here and they try to have an iconic moment. It's kind of sad, in my opinion, where they try to relive a little bit of WrestleMania 6, but basically Warrior helps up Savage, and all is right in the world, just like they embraced at WrestleMania 6, and Savage is still falling. Again, attempted a babyface. I know it was kind of tough times without Hulk Hogan there, but again, pretty cool Hasbros. We're actually going to bring them all back in the ring because these were some of those famous wrestlers I had in my collection. And you can tell Macho's got some wear there. You got a Flair back there, so there you go. All right, next up, another dark match. We've got the Berserker, who in 2017 ended up on the Judge Mathis show, and the Native American Tatanka. And anyone who watched the WWE around this time knows that Tatanka, I'm not sure that this is how he won. Again, it was a dark match, but he obviously wins because, as we all know, the Native American had an undefeated streak until Ludwig Vorga cheated. Nope, the actions were broken. Cheated with a steel chair on Raw, and eventually did beat Tatanka. But that hadn't happened yet, so we go 1, 2, 3, Tatanka with the victory. Again, not surprising. All right, and then we have the beginning of a pretty fun rivalry coming up. We have Kamala, the Ugandan Giant, against The Undertaker. Back and forth match, but Kamala just can't understand why The Undertaker keeps sitting up. So Kimchi has to interfere from the outside. This is the closest we could do. Brooklyn Brawler played Doink, who also played Kimchi, so we'll pretend he interferes. There was a tombstone. There was actually a pretty bad chokeslam in there somewhere. But again, Undertaker wins here. DQ. Again, these are cool Hasbro, so we'll show them off for a second. But Undertaker wins. DQ leads to a very cool, I believe, the first real casket match at Survivor Series 1992, which was my first pay-per-view. All right, so we are finally at just a shade over 10 minutes into the end of the show. And legendary match. I certainly do not want to do disservice to. We have the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, against the Hitman, Bret Hart. There are just some really good spots in the match. There is a suplex off the top rope, which we'll get up close here. There is a sharpshooter towards the end where Davey Boy crawls to the ropes and gets out of it. And then there is an Irish whip where Hitman tries a sunset flip and Davey Boy ends up reversing it and pinning him for the 1, the 2, the 3. Anyone who's ever listened to anything Bret Hart has done, it will know he goes out of his way to say that he wanted this to be a 30-minute match, but Davey Boy came to the arena high on crack and said, "Mr. Hitman, I can't do it." But besides that, again, iconic match. And both these gentlemen, something about the open-air stadium, which I couldn't quite recreate here, absolutely legendary event. Hopefully these Hasbros did somewhat justice. Hopefully you get a little bit of your childhood here. And thanks for watching.